Despite scaring off the circus in Chapter 7, we were unable to recover the ring of the Princess Exalt, but at least we've confirmed Elusia has the remaining stolen rings, on top of the one entrusted to them. After departing the Grand Crossing, Vale is still in the village we last met her, and is busy dispatching the corrupted with dark Kamehamehas. At the end of her monologue, she specifies her missing sibling as brother, which at this point I'm convinced is Alir. Back at the Somniel, we unlock Recreation, another avenue at which we can boost the support points between characters. We check up on the Ancient Well and attain a lot more items than what I put in, from stronger weapons in El Surge and the Killing Edge, to food-based weapons that can be consumed for healing. We do our push-ups, eat a D-rank meal with Chloe and Louis, train Alfred to level 10, do a few more pulls in the ring vault, view the 2-sentence bombed conversations with Jean and Alfred with their respective emblems, and as usual we view the support conversations. Alir stares intensely at Etier, finding her confidence to be inspiring. Thankfully, Alir is the protagonist, so Etier doesn't mind too much. Louis is observing two people and Alir approaches him to ascertain his intentions, coming to an understanding that Louis merely enjoys people watching and does not have intentions beyond that. Chloe continues to share her idealized desire of a fairy tale life and considers Alir to be something from that ideal. Alir discloses that he yearns for average days too, and Chloe feels guilt for not considering Alir's feelings, and attempts to apologize with one of her curious cuisines. Clan thanks Louis for the etiquette lessons from their C-rank support, and Clan found Alfred was quite nice to him, to the point where Alfred wished they were brothers. Louis is shocked, yet intrigued, so Clan invites him for one of his and Alfred's workout sessions. Louis declines, not wanting to impede on their forming brotherly bond. Etier uses her Princess Lab Rat for her new muscle stimulant, made from combining the favourite meals from other muscle heads into one disgusting blend. Despite the warning smells from the stimulant, Alfred is still grateful that Etier let him try first, and after chugging down, concludes that it's not fit for human consumption. Alfred continues his friendliness streak with Unica. Despite not wanting people to dig into her past, Unica tries to goad Alfred into being a little more suspicious, and all she gets is Alfred is willing to talk to her more, to which Unica is thankful that Alfred is very trusting. Celine stumbles upon Alfred digging a deep hole for a well, responding to complaints about there not being enough water, until Celine points out there is a river close by. Thus Alfred thanks Celine for the new idea and rushes off, jug in hand. Louis is watching a group of ladies, and Chloe, who was part of that entourage, confronts him. Louis responds that to him, watching people is greater than viewing fine art, and in a sense, Chloe agrees with the sentiment, much akin to her fawning over fairy tale imagery. They then plan a viewing party to share what scenes catch their eyes. Unica is invited by Louis for some tea and highly praises his blend. Louis shares that from a young age he has been perfecting his tea making skills, and that his family has easy access to high quality leaves. He then inquires about Unica's family and immediately withdraws it once he notices her nervousness on the subject. In the end, Louis invites Unica to try his hometown specialty another time. Jean approaches Chloe and gifts her some stomach medicine. While it seems Chloe hasn't gotten sick from her food palette yet, she takes the medicine and thanks Jean. After getting through that avalanche of support conversations, we finally reach the heart of the Kingdom of Might. At the castle gates, the Crown Prince Diamant gives a proud introduction and welcomes us to Brodia. Alchrist warns his brother of the impending illusion attack. Then, the King of Brodia, Morian, greets us personally. Contrary to the country's reputation, he's quite the family man, and knowing what we're here for, casually tosses the ring of the young lion to us, and we awaken Emblem Roy from within. With the impending attack, Diamant is entrusted with Roy's ring. From the horizon, Illusia's Crown Princess Ivy swoops in, delivers a more elegant introduction than her sibling, and wastes no time in showing off that she's in possession of the ring of the Sage Lord for this encounter. On preparations, we have our first defend map, sort of. where we must prevent the enemy from entering any of the 5 central tiles at the top of the map, with the only defences being 2 barricades, a ballista in the centre, which is only usable by those with bow proficiency, and our party. As I said in my last video, I bench Anna and opt to bring out Citrine. I also swap out Etier for Alchrist and likewise transfer the longbow to him. I move over Sigurd to Chloe, give Alfred and Alchrist Lachesis B and Citrine Sanaki A. I put everyone into these positions and start the map. Diamant's retainer Amber appears to fill in the empty tile in our formation, and the goal for victory is to defeat the boss Ivy. For turn 1, I split everyone into 2 groups, with Alchrist heading straight for the ballista. The enemy starts breaking down the barricade and a corrupted lancer gets first blood on Amber. Then 2 Pegasus Knight reinforcements appear from the south. Turn 2 begins and Alchrist uses the ballista to snipe down one of the Pegasus Knights on the left side. Diamant moves west, Emblem engages and uses the engage attack Blazing Lion with the Lance Reaver, a sword that reverses its weapon triangle advantage and disadvantage, damaging foes within a 3x3 area and turning the affected area into burning terrain for 1 turn. Jean braves the flames and knocks out one of the corrupted. Amber does the same with the next one along. Then I move Clan over to the far left to function as bait for the Axe Flyer, so Amber doesn't take damage from them and potentially die to the flames straight after. For the right team, Citrine and Alfred take out the swordsman next to Louis, then Chloe and Louis team up on the other one. Because of how fast the barricades are deteriorating, Alir and Unica split from their respective groups to back up Alchrist. The barricades get breached, then a Wind Mage and an Axe Flyer heavily harm Louis. The clan bait worked as intended, and a Sword Flyer swoops in to hit Alchrist, then more Pegasus Knight reinforcements appear. Turn 3, Clan doubles back to the center of our defense to attack an approaching Armor Knight that Citrine then defeats. Alchrist temporarily backs off the ballista to keep the Pegasus Knight away from him. Diamant eliminates the flyer that fell for the clan bait, then Jean heals Amber, and gets his second trash level up. Louis retreats to keep away from the Wind Mage and heals up with a Vulnerary. Alfred takes his place to knock out the Pegasus Knight, allowing Chloe to attack and retreat from the Wind Mage safely. Alir pushes our central defense forward and breaks the Axe Corrupted that broke the left barricade, and Unica does the same for the right side, but slays the Wind Mage instead, taking their tome in the process. On the enemy phase, Alir defeats the Axe Corrupted while Unica poisons the other one on her side. The Pegasus Knights fly in, and for some reason only Alfred gets attacked. The enemies in the central plaza continue approaching, including Ivy's retainers Kagetsu and Zelkov. Just like the last few turns, the enemy reinforce themselves with more Pegasus Knights. Beginning turn 4, Alir retreats from Kagetsu's attack range to avoid getting obliterated by his 30% crit chance, and eliminates the Axe Corrupted hounding Unica. Alchrist returns to the ballista and snipes down another Pegasus Knight. Louis heads down the stairs, Emblem engages and Lodestar rushes the only enemy unit in his attack range. Unica moves down to complete the choke point and poisons the Pegasus Knight on the other side of the wall, which is then followed with a javelin shot from an Emblem engaged Chloe. Alfred also heads on down to prepare for Zelkov. Amber moves to Alchrist's left, ready to attack Kagetsu when he gets closer. This allows Clan Citrine and Diamant to take down the remaining left side flyer, and Jean finishes the turn with the only great sacrifice he will pull off this chapter. Zelkov starts the enemy phase by poisoning Alfred, and Kagetsu climbs the stairs towards the ballista. Alir defeats the sword flyer that attacks him. Then the remaining central plaza enemies approach and, you've guessed it, more Pegasus Knights appear. Turn 5. While I did say that I prepped Amber to attack Kagetsu, I changed my mind because I didn't want to deal with the 1 in 5 chance of getting crit, and instead he breaks the other swordsman. We take an indirect approach to eliminating Kagetsu by shocking, burning, and piercing him until he retreats. Zelkov, on the other hand, I let him live another turn by focusing on the remaining nearby small fry. Louis dominates the Axe Soldier, then Alfred and Chloe fall back. Yunaka and Alir move over to the left side to take down the broken swordsman. John fully heals both himself and Alfred, then Diamant joins the center with everyone else. Zelkov poisons Chloe, then the Pegasus Knights continue beelining the gate, and this time there are no reinforcements. Turn 6. Amber, Citrine and Clan safely dispatch 11 sword-wielding flyer. Yunaka and Alir continue teaming up and weaken the other flyer on the left side, leveling Alir to level 10. Diamant moves down to cover Citrine's flank, and the right side focuses on taking down Zelkov. Chloe starts the chain with an override which harms the axe flyer too. Alchrist uses one of the ballista shots to weaken Zelkov further, and Alfred is the one to scare him off. Louis then solos the Pegasus Knight south of him, instead of the one that's much closer to the objective point, and John finishes the turn by healing Chloe and gets a level up that makes up for his previous one. The Pegasus Knights ignore us and charge towards the gates. The remaining mages start moving too, and more reinforcements appear again, except this time they're coming from the east and west sides of the map. Once turn 7 begins, Ivy kindly warns us that she'll be advancing soon. Chloe makes her way back to the gate and attacks a Pegasus Knight along the way. Alfred, Louis and Jean move back as well to prepare for the others that will be coming along, though in Jean's case it's to get to an Emblem energy tile. Trusting that the Pegasus Knights will continue to ignore my units, Citrine boldly launches a fireball to the weakened illusion flyer from a 1-tile distance. Though just in case my trust is misplaced, Amber ensures Citrine's potential attacker can't get to her. Alir takes out a fire mage who was holding a secret book, then Yunaka, Diamant and Clan move down, ready to poison and damage Ivy. Amber questions why he's hit by an enemy mage, and the rest of the enemies continue to pursue the gates. Alchrist begins turn 8 by taking the first shot at Ivy, removing almost a third of her first HP bar. Chloe and Alfred take out the Pegasus Knight that's dangerously close to the gates. Amber and Citrine double team on the mage near them. Then I play around with the attack order on Ivy, considering the Emblem skills, that at least mattered in this chapter anyway. Vantage Plus, which will make the user attack first when at 50% or less HP, if the enemy initiates, and in place of an engage attack, there's the skill Adaptable, which causes the user to always have weapon advantage on enemy initiation. To be honest, I see it more of a benefit for me, just based on her poor hit rate with the Emblem's Master Lance against Alir, and the fact we can play around the Killer Axe too. I refrain from having Yunaka attack first, since half of her HP gets blown away in a single hit, so she'll be a goner if we go to the enemy phase. Thus Diamant strikes, then Clan Emblem engages and gets round Ivy's Vantage with Warp Ragnarok, breaking the Revival Stone. In the end, I do take the risk with Yunaka and have her attack Ivy. Once I have Alir move in for his strike, I realise that I could have finished off Ivy if I attacked in a different order, meaning that my worry for Yunaka dying is pointless if there's no enemy phase to worry about. So, making my second tactical timeline jump this playthrough, I accidentally go back to after Alchrist made his shot, which thankfully didn't matter too much. Yunaka applies the poison, Diamant strikes again with more force this time. Citrine breaks the Revival Stone with her Thunder Tome. Alir deletes 2/3 of Ivy's second HP bar, and we bypass Vantage again with a Warp Ragnarok finish.
My apologies.
No.